Welcome everyone. Here we are with Danielle Arquette, and she is the social media supermum, and she is here teaching us all some life-saving, time-saving hacks and tricks to be super organized as mums and parents, and especially working from home and having to sometimes have to homeschool, or some people are going to be going back to school this next term, which is great, but still we all need time, more time. So please welcome Danielle. And Danielle, what would you like to tell us about how to save us time?
Yeah, thanks so much, Jen. And before I get started though, I understand you've been doing some bits and pieces with youth and doing some special coaching with them. So,
oh yeah, I've just finished 2 weeks of my skills success program, and it was just phenomenal. I had like 7 teenagers, and they did some life and career and school and leadership training, and it was just a dream come true, actually. Like, I got loads of good feedback. I got mostly 4s and 5s out of 5s, so I'm pretty happy about that.
yeah.
But anyway, today I would love to hear from you, so please tell us a little bit about yourself and some time-saving hacks.
Okay, cool. I will. So my name's Danielle, and I'm known online as the social media supermum. I've been working in my own businesses and had my own businesses since the age of 25 was my first business. So over 20 years now, and I've got 20 years experience in strategic marketing. But then when the digital marketing side came in, I kind of jumped on the bandwagon there. And what I realized is there was a lot of power in the leverage of online business, because now instead of talking like one-to-one, I could talk to one-to-many. And I know that a lot of people have just recently joined online and realized this power, which has been awesome to see, whether people are doing Zoom chats with clients or doing one-to-many opportunities, say an online fitness business or whatever that they're doing right now. So my second business was created. I've had 3 businesses. My second business was an online and offline personal training business, a commercial personal training studio. And I started working in that business because I worked as a manager for a fitness franchise, and I was unfairly dismissed when I was pregnant with my first baby. I was very, very ill. I was seeking to change my shifts. They were being very, very difficult about that. And in the end, I was so stressed. I was worried and concerned that I was going to lose my baby. And so my husband said to me, you just can't be doing this. You can't be going to work and be under these circumstances. And he said, can you do something else? And I went and applied for some other jobs. And I guess what gave me great confidence is I actually received 2 job offers while 6 months pregnant with my baby. And I thought, wow, if people want to give me this job, then clearly I know what I'm doing. So I decided I'm not going to take the jobs. I'm going to start my own business. And so at 6 months pregnant with my son, my first baby, I decided, okay, and I started a business in the back room of my house. Well, fast forward 1 year, and I'd basically made so much profit in my business, and I had over 8 staff working for me. I had boot camps and personal training, all kinds of things. It was so busy that my husband actually had to build a wall in the back gate, build a gate in our fence so that people could come and go like from the back of the house, because he got sick of people traipsing through our home. So yeah, that was pretty crazy times. And through all of that, I realized just how wonderful it can be to have a baby. I mean, I would be breastfeeding my baby or patting my baby, rocking my baby while training these awesome women. And I realized, there's no reason why we can't do it all. And eventually I had my second baby, and while I'm breastfeeding her in the hospital, I had my first $10,000 day. And that was truly a life-changing moment for me, because it was the moment that I realized it was never about the money. It was the moment that I realized, wow, imagine I haven't worked in my business. I'd worked on the business, but I hadn't actually worked as a personal trainer in my business for over 3 months. And here I was making really amazing levels of money. And it was just about the fact that I wanted that for other women. I wanted to be able to teach other women how they could have access to that, how they could actually create that passive income for themselves, and how they could really change their life. So hence I started my digital marketing and social media business. And so now I get to work with women all the time, helping them to leverage online systems and online businesses and their social media and all the good stuff.
So tell us what your top 5 time-saving tips are then, please.
Okay, cool. So we started talking a little bit about this before.
Yeah.
So number 1 would be, as well as a to-do list, have a to-don't list.
To-don't list. That's so cool.
Have a to-don't list. Have a list where it's like, these are all the things that I am just not willing to do. Like, no, I'm not willing to go and spend an hour and a half walking around an oval when I can do my workout in 20 minutes, for example. So have a list of the things. I'm not willing to bake a cake, bake another cake for another fundraiser when I hate baking cakes, and that's just not me. And kudos to you if you love that, like that's great. It's just not me. So being really strict about the things that you love doing and enjoy doing, because I just think you get one life and you got to live it, and you can't afford to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not really sure about whether I want to do this, but I'll do it through guilt or through something else. The second tip would be focus on energy management rather than time management. We've all got the same 24 hours, but it's so much easier to tick certain things off your list when you're tired. For example, as a mum, like I often see mothers and friends who are like, oh, I'm going to get my friend or my mum to babysit the kids so I can go do the shopping in peace. And I'm like, that's wonderful. Like that's awesome. But the thing is, you can actually shop with kids pretty easily if you've got a few things in play, but it's really hard to, like, I don't know, prepare a new product or focus on systemizing your marketing for the year with 2 kids in tow, whereas it's a lot easier to do your shopping at the grocery store. Does that make sense? So really focusing on where are the areas where you really need to have that focus time, and where are the areas where you can just run around, run your errands and do that maybe in a low energy time for you, like a 2 o'clock for me, where I just want to snooze. I can go do those lower energy tasks. The third thing would be routines and habits. I know that we've talked about this a lot. So I have a complete routine from the time that I wake up to the time I sit down at my computer as exactly what I'm going to do. That includes a household routine. I have a 15-minute household routine that I do daily. And then it's like 15 minutes in the morning and then 15 minutes in the evening, and it means everything is done.
Yes, tell us about that, because I love that.
Yeah, right. So I think we overestimate, what is that saying about we overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do like in a year or something. It's so true. Like one of the tricks is like, go grab your phone and set a timer for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Because I think it's not the actual time that bothers us with housework. It's the overwhelm of there is so much to do. Yeah, we're like looking at the dirty floor and we're looking at the washing basket and we're looking at the dishes that aren't done. And we're like, there is so much to do. But if you actually just set a timer and almost race with yourself to go, okay, cool, 10 minutes and like, how much can I actually get done? And you run around the house cleaning things up, you'll be blown away by how much can actually get completed in that period of time. Yeah. So having a routine, so I don't have to think about it. Like when I get up in the morning, like I'll tell you my routine, literally, I get out of bed and my routine is very detailed because I've been doing it the same way for so long. Get out of bed, I have a glass of water and I turn the kettle on and I have a cup of peppermint tea and I have a coffee. So I have three drinks is like the first thing I do. Obviously I go to the bathroom and then I take my vitamins for the day. So like that's part of my routine. And then after that, I go have my shower, get ready. Oh, actually, sorry, I check my emails because I check my emails before kids are at school and things are going crazy. So over breakfast, I have my breakfast, check my emails. Oh, and I have smoothie for breakfast. So I have the same smoothie every day for breakfast. People are like, that's so freaking boring. I'm like, yeah, it is. It is, because I don't want to be thinking about those decisions, because the decisions I want to be thinking about are the high level important decisions. Yeah. I also, sorry, I've got an alarm to remind me to do something.
See,
it's actually a daily alarm that I set when my husband's on night shift to remind me to send him a nice text message so he can wake up to a nice text message.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, so these are the things that we schedule in because otherwise I'm just going to forget those kind of things. So hence the alarm.
How about the putting your clothes? I know, like right now, we're not all going out, but I remember when I first met you, it was at that event, and you were so dressed so well, and I was like, "How did you even have time to get dressed like that?" And you were like, "I prepared it the night before," and I was like, "Brilliant!"
Yeah, right. I do, like, unless I'm doing a work, so I will prepare my outfit the night before. So before I go to bed, the last thing I do is go, cool, what am I going to wear tomorrow? Because you've got the time kind of to do it at bedtime. Whereas when you wake up in the morning, and I don't know about you guys, I'm not a morning person at all. Like, just not I've never been a morning person. I could stay up all night. In fact, quite often I would if I could, but I'm not a morning person. I don't wake up and go, wow, I've got my stuff together. So my thing is like, roll out of bed, go have a shower, put the thing on that's there. Like, I don't have to think about it. It's just there and it's done. And if I've got a morning important meeting or webinar, podcast, whatever, then I'll actually do my hair the night before too, which means that it's like 3/4 done. And in the morning, I just have to, twirl it with the curling irons and it looks okay, right? But it takes me 5 minutes as opposed to like 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah. So imagine doing your hair before you go to bed. It sounds crazy, but trust me, this works.
And you have your 5 minute sort of clean the kitchen thing. So you like turn on the dishwasher, wipe down the bench. I now do that, and that is brilliant, because otherwise I find my whole sink just piles up with everything, and I'm just like, I'm trying to get some work done, but I just can't have all those dishes in the sink either.
So people are two different types. I realize there are the people that are really able to just work in spite of the mess, and if you're that person, kudos to you. Like, I admire you. I am not that kind of person. I must be more OCD style personality, but I'm like, I really hate clutter. I just went through the whole Marie Kondo, like, clean your whole house out, and it took me quite a while, even though I'm a clean person, because I had a lot of things stuck in cupboards and that. But yeah, I've realized that just removing clutter physically, it helps our brain mentally. So it's actually been proven scientifically that when we get clutter out of sight, that we do better mentally. So it's interesting. So for me, I'd rather take 5, 10 or 15 minutes, even half an hour in the morning to set up my day. And that means, my kids make their beds, and we do a big thing of the wipe down of the kitchen bench.
Put the load washing on, and
right. And people laugh at me when I tell them this, that I refuse to own anything that I have to iron. So that's nothing new. I think there's a lot of people like that. But the second thing is, I chuck all my whites, colors, and blacks in together in the washing machine. I wash it all together.
As long as they're not gonna, if they're not new, it doesn't matter.
My system for that is, when I bring a new piece of clothing in the household, let's say, I wash it separately on its own first to check whether it runs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if it runs, it's not going in the wash, and to be honest, I'm probably just going to get rid of it. But 99% of things don't run. And so I realized, okay, I can throw it all in together. And so I do. I chuck everything in together. There's one hamper. It's my husband's clothes, the laundry, the towel, everything goes in. Yep. Everything goes in.
And then you don't have to do like 3 loads of washing or whatever.
Yeah, I do one washing. I do a daily load of washing. So that is the one thing every single day that I do. And I guess if you've got teenagers, that's a great tip, because, my 8-year-old, he turns the washing machine on for us. Like, he knows how to do the washing cycle. So I'll tell him, Aiden, go load up the washing machine and turn it on. He knows where to put the stuff. Yeah, it's just training.
And do you block out certain times of the day to do work? And, how does that work?
Yes, I do. So I try and get all of my tasks done before 9:30. I say 9:30 because I've got kids that I drop to school. Like, I walk them down to school. We live really close to the school, so it's easy. And then by the time I get home, like when I walk into my front door, it's like, that's like I've come back to my job. Sounds weird, but having that definition of, oh, I'm actually at the office now, and I say hello to my coworker, which is my dog, and hi boss, how are you? And then we get started for the day. So yeah, you have to have those distinct separations between work and home. And sometimes, like previously when I didn't have kids or whatever, I would just, and that's why for me, getting dressed, doing makeup and hair is actually so important, because it sort of differentiates that next part of the day for me. So,
and yeah. I've got now a do not disturb sign on the door, so that hubby and kids and everybody knows that that's work time now. If the door's closed and the sign's on the door, do not disturb.
Yeah, see, my hubby probably wouldn't wouldn't take notice of that.
Well, hopefully you would if you're on a lot.
Whatever works. Yeah, whatever works.
And you were telling me the other day about family mission board that you have.
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
So I used to get quite frustrated because obviously I have my own goals, and I know most of the women in the room probably relate to this. As a woman, I'm like, okay, cool. So these are my goals. So I've got my personal goals. Then we have goals around the kids, which are joint family goals, right? Because my husband and I are both going to have to work on those things with them. And then he has his personal goals. And then we have goals kind of together as the family. And so for me, I'm like, how does this, like, I'm a very visual person. So I'm like, I want to see how can I visualize this out?
So can you give me a goal of your kids, like one of their goals?
Yeah, okay, cool. So my daughter's goal, she's really into ballet. So her goal this season was stretching, so to get more flexible. She's 6, but you know, she wants to do the splits and all these other things, right? So her goal was stretching, so to stretch every day. Yeah,
I love that, because I'm a coach, so anything about goal setting is just brilliant. And to have that everyone knows in the family that that's her goal, and then you can all help her with that goal.
And that was her personal goal, but then we might have other goals. Like my son's goal was times tables, like to learn his times tables. Now that wasn't the goal that he necessarily chose, but we discussed how if he could learn that, it would really be easy for him in maths at school, and how that other kids were learning the times tables. And you know, he decided, yeah, sure, I'm happy to take that one on board. So he's got some other goals with his taekwondo and other activities and things too.
And then how do you have the family mission though?
Yeah, so we have it. It's a huge board that hangs in the kitchen. I wish I could show you, but I'm not really that mobile.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, so it's a huge board. It hangs in the kitchen. And so we had to decide, the first thing to decide with your family mission is, what do you actually stand for as a family? Because every family has different things that are common to them, but might not make sense to other people. Like, we're a FIFO family. So my husband is away 1 week out of 2. So our mission is going to look really different to those that have their husband home every night, for example, because when he's home, then he'll try and do things like meal prep so that I don't have to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So every family, or you might have a family that's really into travel and adventure, or family that's into hiking. Health is also another big priority for us. So we're now doing things like going for a walk each day at 5 o'clock together.
So you like came to an agreement as a family, like you sat down and you went, right, we want to focus on health. So how are we going to do this? What are we going to commit to every day? Right. And we're going to go for an hour walk every day. I love that.
Yeah. And so with the COVID thing, usually we wouldn't have done our mission board for another month, but because everything we're like, wow, okay, we're social distancing, we've got to be at home. Like everything was changing. The kids weren't at school, they were homeschooling. We're like, we're going to have to change this about. And so we decided to redo our board, and there were three goals for each season. So the family mission, the overall mission, it's like a mission statement, right? So you have an overall mission. So your mission might be like a family that loves together, plays together, or challenge and adventure is our thing, or whatever. But then we have 3 seasonal goals. Now they're the goals for the next 3 months. So they're just for a season. It's not forever, it's just for a season. And so the seasonal goals for us for the COVID thing, number 1 was health. We decided if we can be as healthy as we can and have high immune systems, that's probably a great thing for us with this virus going around. The number 2 thing was to not worry, because there was so much worrying out there, and we all wanted as a family just to still have fun and not worry and just enjoy our life. And so the 3rd goal out of that was choosing joy every day and creating fun. So having a bit of fun every day. So deliberately, intentionally creating fun. So there are 3 goals in this season. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got Alison saying she's a single mum. So what are some single mum, obviously she's not got that extra pair of hands. So she's like you 1 week of the 2. So how do you just are you like a military mum? Do you have lots of rules, and are you super strict?
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's 2 or 3 things to think about with that, Alison. And look, I applaud you. I applaud anyone that's a single parent, because it's the toughest gig you'll ever freaking do. I'm not a single parent, but I call myself a silo parent. So I remember times when the kids were really young, especially, and it was like a tough gig. My husband would be away. I'd have no one. I don't have parents or people around close that can help. So it was literally me and the kids, and it was not easy. Couple of things. The first thing is understanding your children's love languages and pouring into them. So my daughter, like, to give you just my kids as an example, my daughter is the extroverted, social, crafty kid. So she's really missing school right now because she's an extrovert, and she's always like with her friends, and my friend said this, and oh my goodness, you know. And she's constantly making gifts for her friends or for me or whatever. So her love languages are all related to social time and gift giving and crafting. Yeah. So there's nothing, like, I personally don't tell anyone this, but I hate crafting. I'm not a good crafting mom, right? I'm not the one to sit down and do crafting, but I will force myself to sit down and do that crafting even for 10 minutes or 20 minutes because it makes her so happy, right? That's her thing. Or socially, we'll go out, have a coffee together, get our nails done. She's too young for that, but those type of activities. My son, though, he's an introvert, and his main predominant language is physical touch. So I just have to make sure that throughout the day, I'm giving him plenty of hugs, and like, he's the kid that if you want him to like have an attitude adjustment, you just go do a tickle fight with him. Yeah. So understanding your kids' love languages and how you can pour into those love languages on a daily basis is going to save you so much time because you're meeting their needs. Yeah, because their needs are not going to be necessarily the same as yours. Like, I'm not like, I love it when my husband does things to save me time. Like, I love it when he's doing stuff. But if he gave me a gift of roses and perfume, I'd be like, yeah, like, it's not, to me, that's not my personal love language. Yeah, but when he saves me time by meal prepping, I'm like, no, you're the king. You're the king.
Yeah. I know, anything that saves time for me, I'm exactly the same. But yesterday I did something for him. I swept up the whole backyard because he's been doing some work right now, like some landscaping work, and he just does that all day for his work. So I'm like, I'm going to do that for him. That's just him, that I love him. So I swept up the whole backyard.
And that's great if that's his love language. So the question is, what's his love language? So yeah, with our kids, understanding their love language, that's the first tip that I would give you, Alison. The second tip that I would give you is what I've noticed with a lot of my friends who are single moms, because they're so busy, they really struggle with that time to declutter or clean up the house, or like, they're doing the day-to-day, but actually having a good clean sweep of everything, getting rid of the toys, etc., is really difficult for them. So I'd be advising them, be very careful what you bring into your home, because it's so easy to have stuff come in and then just never leave. Like, I'm talking about clutter, like accidental clutter. And then the other thing I'd say with that is enlist the help of some friends to help you. Yeah. So have friends help you to declutter, have friends help you. If you've got friends that are around that you know are handy, like maybe ask a friend's husband, hey, look, my barbecue's broken, can you help me out with that? You know, so just have a resource of people that you can rely on and draw upon. People do not mind helping if you ask them. That's what I've realized. So I think that's particularly important now and in these times. Yeah, that'd be the two
We've got 5 minutes left. So do you want to just do a little recap on any of your top tips for people to save time, please?
Sure. Non-urgent tasks you can do during kid time or during low energy time. We didn't really talk too much about it, but understanding that your children are quite resilient and responsible, and realizing that they have the capacity to do tasks, but not just the capacity, but it's so important, I think, that we're training them to be responsible out in the bigger world. There's going to get to a point where our kids are going to be going to job interviews to get their first job, or they're going to have to live in a household by themselves or with a partner or with a wife or husband. And I think it's really important that we give them the opportunity to contribute to our homes as they're growing up, so that later on in life they understand that the power is in the contribution. Like, I'm always saying to I think my son in particular, like, he's a giver. Like, he'll go and do something and he'll say, Mummy, I unstacked the dishwasher for you. Because he realizes the power of contribution and just the power and resilience. Like, I've laughed, some of the gorgeous women that I go to school with, they call me Tiger Mom, because there's quite a heavy Chinese population. And a tiger mum in the Chinese culture is a mum that's like really strict and disciplined. And one of them was saying to me, oh, I just don't know how to help my, I just don't know what to do. Like my son, he just watches TV all the time and I can't do anything about it. And I said, who owns the TV? And she's like, I do. And I said, and who owns the electricity? She's like, I do. I said, there's this thing on the wall, let's go to PowerPoint. I said, just unplug it. And she was like, oh, I could never do that. And I said, you can do whatever you want. You're the parent and it's your responsibility to parent. So it might cause drama, it might cause tears, but our children are so resilient and so able and so responsible. So I think it's important for us to really
empower them.
Sense for us and empower them. Like my children get all the free time they want once they've done the chores, once they've helped out with the home and the things I've asked them to do. Then then you can have your iPad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So routines, we talked about routines, just getting into really good routines and habits and focusing on energy management and priority management instead of time management. And the last thing I wanted to really talk about, because I feel this is so important for your target market in particular, is this thing with mum guilt versus business guilt or work guilt. Yeah. So it's that thing of I'm at work and I feel guilty that I'm not at home with my kids, or I'm not spending time with my kids, or I'm not doing the homework with the kids or any of those other things with the kids. But now I'm with the kids and now I'm feeling guilty that I'm not achieving in my home life. I'm not achieving in my business or in my office. Yeah. Be very intentional. If you're with your children, be with your children.
Yeah.
Be with your children mentally and connected with your children mentally. And if you're in the office, be in the office. Yeah. Multitasking is the biggest misnomer when people come to saving time. Like multitasking does not save you time. It would be lovely if it does. Multitasking is crap, basically. It's crap. So when you're spending time with your kids, pour in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, even 5 minutes of connected time could be enough to last your child for the day. If it's connected and engaged. Yes. And listening and focused on them.
And what I do is if I have any ideas while I'm with the kids, I just write it on a Post-it and then I go and stick it on my desk so that I get the thought out of my head and then at least it's, I can get back to it when I'm at
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to switch from one to the other. And that's why for me personally, I just carve out that time. Like during this whole homeschooling crisis, I was like, right, 9 to 12 each day is homeschooling. So people can't book appointments with me until after that. Like that's how it's going to be for the next 3 weeks. And that's okay. Yeah. It's up to you to set the boundaries and the standards of what you'll allow into your life and what you'll not allow in your life. That can include friends, family, interruptions. How often do we pick up our phone when we're like working in the office? Like if we were working for a boss, for example, you would not be able to pick up your phone like every 5 minutes. Whereas some days I like laugh because I'm like, oh, my sister's calling again. And that's great. I want to talk to her. But if I'm working on an important project, no, the phone will go out of the room, for example. But yeah, it's about connection and it's about being connected and focused with our children and pouring into their love language, and then being connected and focused with our business or our clients and figuring out what they're needing and just really being focused on that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I could listen to you all day, Danielle. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of gold right there. And I just want to thank you so much. I know you've got a document because I've already printed it out. It's the Take Back Your Time checklist. So if anyone is interested in that, you just need to go to the social media Supermum. Is that right?
Yeah, just socialmediasupermum.com. You can actually download that. It's a freebie, so it doesn't cost you anything. And I think a lot of people will find it's really helpful for them to meet their goals. So yeah, it was great. It was so great being on today with you.
Yes.
And I guess in completion, like one of the stories that I loved to hear was when Sophia Loren was filming these movies and she was like top of the tree in Hollywood, and they were coming and they were like wanting to have these, superpower interviews with her, and they're waiting. And like at one point she's like, excuse me. And she left the room and they're like, what is she doing? Where has she gone? What is she doing? She's like, and she came back and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, duty calls. I'm toilet training my toddler. And they were like, everyone was like aghast. Like she walked out on Hollywood to toilet train her toddler. And I love that story because I think at the end of the day, it's important to remember we got into business for a reason. And for a lot of us, the reason why we got into business or we started to working on our own terms was because we had children. So let's not forget the reason we started our business to begin with. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so we just got to try and improve how we juggle, because we want the best of both worlds. We want to be the best mums and we want to be the best, career women and business women.
Yeah.
We can have the best, but we don't want to like burn out in the process.
Absolutely. Well, I would say stop juggling, put all the balls down and pick up the balls that you want to pick up at the time when you want to pick them up.
Yeah, put one down and then pick up the other one.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your
Thanks
time.
so much, Jen, and everyone that came on today.
I'm going to first of all stop the Facebook Live, and then I'll go back to the Zoom. And so bye everyone on Facebook. And here we go.